Imagine a world, not unlike our own, where a colossal blue T-Rex dinosaur reigns supreme, a creature of immense size and power. This is no ordinary T-Rex. This is the blue behemoth, a dinosaur so powerful, so terrifying, it has brought humanity to its knees. In this world, the blue behemoth is the unchallenged ruler. Its roar shakes the earth, its footprints are the size of cars, and its teeth, as sharp as any blade, gleam with a deadly promise. Its blue scales, a hue so deep that it absorbs the daylight, are a stark contrast to the fiery destruction it leaves in its wake. A creature from our wildest nightmares, it is the embodiment of pure, raw power. As it rampages across our cities, the blue behemoth leaves nothing but chaos in its path. Skyscrapers crumble under its weight, highways are torn apart like paper, and the once bustling metropolises are now ghost towns, echoing with the distant roars of the beast. The world as we know it has been turned upside down. The human race, once the dominant species on this planet, now lives in constant fear. The traditions, the systems, the very foundations of our society have all been shattered. The desperate attempts to regain control, to reclaim our world, have been met with failure. Our weapons, our technology, our strategies, none of them stand a chance against the blue behemoth. Yet in the midst of all this despair, there is a flicker of hope, a beacon in the darkness. The human spirit, resilient as ever, refuses to give in. People are fighting back, not with guns or bombs, but with determination, courage, and an indomitable will that is as strong as any dinosaur. In this world of fear and chaos, one human dared to take a stand, in the most unorthodox way. A world under the reign of the blue behemoth, a world on the edge of oblivion, is about to witness an act of defiance unlike anything before, and it all begins with a single brave individual. In the midst of pandemonium, a lone figure emerged, not with a weapon, but with a plan. This solitary figure was an everyman, someone you'd pass on the street without a second glance. He didn't have the muscular build of an action hero, nor the genius intellect of a world-renowned scientist. In fact, he was as ordinary as they come. A regular Joe, or in this case, a regular John. John, our unlikely hero, was just a simple man, living a simple life, in a world that had suddenly become far from simple. He was no soldier, no strategist, no superhero. But when faced with a blue behemoth causing chaos and destruction, he discovered within himself a courage that was anything but ordinary. John's weapon of choice was not a gun, nor a sword, nor any conventional armament. He had no tanks, no fighter jets, no advanced technology to aid him in his audacious endeavor. All he had was the element of surprise and a plan so ludicrous it was almost genius. Our protagonist had an idea, a strategy, a scheme that was as unconventional as it was unexpected. In the face of a titanic Tyrannosaurus, he had the audacity to concoct a plan that revolved around, well, the most human of substances. Poop. Yes, you heard it right. Poop. It was a plan that could have been dismissed as absurd, as ridiculous, as downright laughable. But in a world where a blue T-Rex was rampaging through cities, perhaps absurdity was the only response. John, our everyman hero, decided to meet the ridiculous with the ridiculous, the outrageous with the outrageous. With his plan hatched and his resolve steel-clad, John stepped forward. He was an ordinary man facing an extraordinary beast, but he was not afraid because he had something that the T-Rex did not. A plan as unconventional as it was, as unexpected as it was, and as daring as it was. With a plan as outrageous as it was daring, he chose to fight back not with firepower but with poop. In the face of danger, our hero climbed the monstrous beast armed with nothing but his own body's excrement. Now that's a sentence I never thought I'd say, but here we are. Our unlikely hero, a mere human, found himself staring into the eyes of the blue behemoth, a Tyrannosaurus Rex of unimaginable size and power. The ground quaked under its weight, and its roars echoed across the world. But our hero was undeterred. He was but a speck compared to the massive creature, yet he had a plan, a daring plan that would either save the world or doom him to a gruesome end. With a deep breath, he began his ascent. He climbed the dinosaur's scaly hide, each step a battle against the beast's thrashing movements. It was like trying to climb a mountain during an earthquake, an impossible task that only the bravest or most foolhardy would attempt. And our hero was a bit of both. The tension was palpable. Every moment was a potential fall, a potential end. But he pressed on, inch by inch, foot by foot, until he was high above the ground, perched precariously on the dinosaur's head. His heart pounded in his chest, the adrenaline coursing through his veins like a raging river, but he didn't waver. And then, the moment of truth. With a grunt of effort, he released his unconventional weapon onto the dinosaur's eye. It was a sight that was as absurd as it was brave, as ridiculous as it was daring. The world watched in stunned silence as the unthinkable happened. The blue behemoth roared in surprise and anger, shaking the earth once more. But our hero held on, his act of defiance completed. In a world gone mad, an act of defiance so absurd, so unexpected had been carried out. It was a moment that would go down in history, a moment that proved that even in the face of overwhelming odds, humans had the courage, the audacity, to stand up and fight no matter how unconventional their weapons might be. As the poop slid down the dinosaur's face, a silence fell over the world. A moment suspended in time, as the world waited with bated breath. The mighty blue T-Rex, the terror of the globe, stood frozen, shock and surprise etched in its eyes. This was not a scenario anyone had predicted, not the humans who had watched their world succumb to the reign of the dinosaur, not even the dinosaur itself. The king of beasts, for the first time since his rise to power, seemed uncertain, caught off guard by the audacity of a single human's act. The poop, now a symbol of defiance, continued its slow descent down the dinosaur's face. Its path traced a line between the old world and the new, between fear and courage, between submission and rebellion. This was not just a piece of poop, it was a declaration of war, a beacon of hope, a message to all that the reign of the dinosaur was not unchallenged. And the world watched. The humans, once cowering in fear, now looked on in awe and disbelief. A spark kindled in their hearts, a spark of hope and courage. If one of them could stand up to the dinosaur, then why not all of them? The dinosaur, for its part, struggled with this new development. Its eyes, once full of ferocity and dominance, now flickered with confusion and doubt. The power dynamics were shifting, and the dinosaur was not prepared for it. It had been so sure of its invincibility, so confident in its reign. But now, it was just a giant blue creature with poop on its face. The audacious act, in all its simplicity, had turned the tables. It had given the humans something they had not had in a long time: hope. It had shown the dinosaur that it was not invincible, that it could be challenged, that it could be defeated. In the face of such an audacious act, even the mighty dinosaur seemed to falter. From that day forward, the world was never the same. The act of defiance, as gross as it was, had a ripple effect that changed the course of history. It was a simple yet audacious act by a seemingly insignificant human that sparked a wave of courage throughout the globe. This act of rebellion, this single solitary act of defiance, was the catalyst for a chain reaction of bravery. In the face of an indomitable blue T-Rex, one human had the audacity to stand up and say, "No more." And that audacity, that sheer, unadulterated bravery, was infectious. Before this incident, the world was paralyzed by fear. The reign of the blue T-Rex was oppressive and unyielding. But then, that one man did the unthinkable. He pooped on the eye of the T-Rex. It was an act so outrageous, so unthinkable, that it shook the world out of its stupor. It was a wake-up call, a rallying cry. It told everyone that even the smallest among us could make a difference. The courage of one man ignited a spark that spread like wildfire. People started to believe that they too could stand up to the T-Rex. They too could defy the dinosaur. They too could make a difference. The act of defiance became a symbol of resistance. It became a beacon of hope in a world dominated by a blue T-Rex. The legacy of that day lives on. The story of the human who defied the T-Rex is told and retold. It's a tale of courage, of defiance, of standing up to tyranny. It's a story that inspires hope and courage in the hearts of people everywhere. In a world dominated by a blue T-Rex, one man's poop became a symbol of resistance, a beacon of hope for all of humanity. And so the legacy continues. Even in the face of the most formidable adversary, the smallest act of defiance can make the biggest difference.